All right, it's your boy, the Primetime Capper Pop DiBiase, and I am here with the living legend himself, Richard Schafer, the CEO of Ringstar. And pretty much it's always an honor and always a pleasure to be around this man as well, too. So pretty much, how you feeling about this fight coming up this week?
A hell of a matchup. Best division in the sport, the welterweights. Very deep division. You can mix and match. That's just another example. 50-50 fight. Two great warriors, two great competitors, two great styles. And I think with Errol Spence, and I said it in Dallas after the fight with Mikey Garcia, with Errol Spence, we have the next superstar. We have, he didn't just win that fight in Dallas, it was the coronation. He became the king of the sport, Errol Spence did. And here he goes. That's what kings do. They take on the biggest and the toughest, and Sean Porter is the biggest and the toughest. He's relentless, has an amazing style. So big test for the pound-for-pound king, Errol Spence. And let's see if Porter can dethrone him.
And what are your thoughts on the Benavidez-Dirrell fight? I know Dirrell is the champion, but I know Benavidez is the more, attraction for the fight and things of that nature. What do you think of this fight?
Well, leave it up to PBC. There is no other platform where a fight like that, Dirrell Benavidez, again, stylistically, it's a great fight. You saw the fireworks today at the press conference. Only PBC has a fight like that as on the undercard. I mean, this is like a loaded card, top to bottom, and Dirrell Benavidez might steal the night. Benavidez is just unbelievable, and so is Dirrell. So, great matchup.
And we got a guy that very significant on the undercard as well, Mario Barrios. What do you think of him?
Great young talent, very young, and here he goes. I've seen him grow. I've seen him become the fighter he is, the man he is, and now he's going for the world title on Saturday night in a very difficult fight. He's fighting a 2016 Olympian, who has a lot of amateur experience. Both young guys. I think it's going to be a barn burner as well, and we'll see on Saturday night how good Barrios really is. And then don't forget, and I'm sure you were going to remind me of it because I know you're a big fight fan. You're going to remind me about the one fight which might actually not only steal the night, but steal the year and become certainly will be one of the Fight of the Year candidate. And that's the opening bout on this amazing loaded telecast. And that's Molina. That's Molina against Josecito Lopez. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. That's going to be a toe-to-toe battle.
And see, that's why you guys got to get to the arena early, because that one is going to be pretty much kicking off the night and everything like that. But all BS aside, I'm a heavyweight. He's a heavyweight. Let's go ahead and talk about your one of your prized possessions right now, F.A. Ajaba. What did you think of his last performance, and what's his future looking like?
First of all, I'd like to say that I think if you really want to put together a big heavyweight pay-per-view event, I think it should be between us. Right? I think we can promote the hell out of it. Right. We can promote the hell out of it.
Right.
So, but no, Efe fought the Turkish Olympian, undefeated guy with I think 14 fights, 14 wins, and that early on in his career to take on a guy like that shows you how good Efe is. Efe injured in his fight. He won the fight, but he couldn't knock the guy out because in the third round or so he injured his arm. Okay. Actually was out of the ring now for a couple months because he had to take care of his arm. But he is going to come back in October. I think it's October 23rd or 25th, something like that. So Efe will be back. Efe is a hell of a fighter, hell of a puncher. And, when the legendary Shelly Finkel called me and he said, hey, I have another heavyweight, you take the phone and you listen, because Shelly Finkel is the same guy who had Mike Tyson, who had Evander Holyfield, and who has now Deontay Wilder. And when Shelly called me and he said, Richard, I have another heavyweight, and his name is F.A. Schafer, I said, okay, let's sign him. So I'm very proud to be able to sign to promote Efe. I have no question about that. He will become heavyweight champion of the world.
All right, and two significant fights. My last question: what are your thoughts on the two sequels that we have here in the heavyweight division for these championships? First with Wilder and Ortiz in Vegas, and then we have the fight over in Saudi Arabia. And what do you think about them using Saudi Arabia as that location for AJ Ruiz too?
Well, I think it was a bit a controversial choice, but in boxing, money talks. So I sort of it is what it is. When I saw a couple of weeks ago on Saturday these drone strikes in Saudi Arabia, I was getting a bit worried from a safety point of view. But it's not my fight, so I don't really have anything to do with it. I just hope it's going to be a great fight. The first one was certainly a big surprise, and we'll see what happens there in Saudi Arabia. And so I look forward to watching it.
I ain't never heard the Garden that quiet, because I was there that night, and I ain't never heard the Garden that quiet. Well, they were going crazy, but there was the shock of the face on the Brits was just like, whoa. They were talking all the trash in the world, and when you turn around after the fight's over, you couldn't see any of them. So, all right.
Well, it's easy to, if Joshua would fight somebody like you or me, it's easy to underestimate us. But little does he know that, people like us can be explosive too.
Right.
So and that's what he saw with Ruiz. Now, all kidding aside, Andy Ruiz is a great fighter, and he fast hand has tremendous skills, and he has that heart, that will, and that desire. And when you have those skills combined with that heart and that desire, and when nobody in the world gives you a chance, that was a rocky moment. It really was, and good for Andy, and I hope he can do it again.
Awesome. And just real quick, what's your predictions for Wilder Ortiz too?
Oh, that's playing with fire. We all know there's a big potential fight on the horizon with the rematch between Wilder and Fury, and to go and fight somebody as dangerous as Luis Ortiz, King Kong Ortiz, is like it's playing with fire, because we saw what happened in the first fight. In that first fight, if that fight would have happened anywhere else, or for that matter, if that same fight would happen now in New York, given what has recently happened, they probably would have stopped that fight, or they would probably stop that fight when Wilder was in trouble the way he was in trouble. Right. I mean, he was in trouble in that fight. Right. And I know Deontay. I signed him out of the Olympics, did many of his fights. He's a good friend of mine. He's an unbelievable champion, an unbelievable ambassador for the sport. But man, he was in trouble. Right. He had him in trouble there. And to go and fight that same guy again, knowing that there's the biggest payday, life-changing, career-changing, legacy-changing fight on the horizon there with Tyson Fury, and you go and take a fight like that, as dangerous as Ortiz, you know what that shows you? The man got balls, and he is the true heavyweight champion of the world, because only a true heavyweight champion of the world go and challenges himself fight after fight against the best, and that is what Deontay Wilder is. Deontay Wilder is not a tune-up fight kind of champion. Once in a while you've got to do a mandatory like he had to do with Brazil. That was a mandatory. It wasn't like he was jumping up and down and I want to fight Brazil. He had to fight Brazil, and he did, and he fulfilled his mandatory. But he's the kind of guy. He is the true heavyweight champion of the world.
And I totally agree with that, and I can't wait till 2020. So pretty much I thank Richard Schafer so much for stopping by and having some quick words with us and everything like that. But this is your boy, the man, Pop DiBiase, and I'm signing out for Fanatic Views.
All right.
Thank
See you, man.